Hello all. Something a little different today. I got an email from the Department for Transport a few days ago telling me about a new ticketing concept they're trying out, and it sounded rather interesting to me. It's location-based ticketing using a phone app. It's being trialled on East Midlands railway trains, and from the end of September it's being trialled on Northern trains. I'm afraid I have fairly limited footage of both those operators, particularly East Midlands, so I'll do what I can. At present, the system is very much in the testing phase. You have to sign up, and they are taking up to 4,000 applicants during the trials. Initially, it's going to be used for passengers travelling between Leicester, Nottingham and Derby. The northern phase of trials will be carried out on services to Harrogate, Leeds, Sheffield, Doncaster and Barnsley. As someone who has family in Harrogate, this caught my interest. Anyway, the East Midlands trial has had a good take-up so far, so clearly I'm not the only one who can use this. The way it works is this. You download the app onto your phone, you tap in, your phone's GPS tells the operator which route you took, and when you tap out, it charges you the cheapest appropriate fare. Rather than having to buy a ticket at a machine or pre-book on your phone, you can just tap in and go. Not dissimilar to the Oyster system in London, in fact. The thinking is that these days, more and more people buy tickets on their phone rather than using paper tickets. In fact, per the press release, an average of 78% of Northern's customers buy their tickets by phone, and the highest proportion for a single day was 89%. Which honestly surprises me. I didn't expect it would be anything like that higher percentage. Of course, not everyone has a smartphone even now, so presumably the option to buy paper tickets will remain in place for the time being, but the statistics seem to show that there is very much a market for this new mode of doing things. Buying tickets can be a complicated process. There's a whole array of different fares, and it can be a little tricky to figure out what you actually need. The argument here is that this app will simplify that by giving you what you need based on your actual journey. You don't need to understand the minutiae of peak and off-peak. I think on the whole this is a good move. It may surprise you to know that I'm very pro-rail. Anything that makes the railways easier to use, especially if it can also make journeys cheaper, is a step in the right direction in my book. Convenience is something public transport should always work towards. To give you a boring anecdote from my own experience, I had a terrible kerfuffle last year trying to get a train from Harrogate because I had ended up leaving earlier than expected, and my pre-booked ticket was not valid. So I ended up having to buy another ticket into York. That's something that could have been avoided with this system. And I'm sure we've all experienced the situation where you're in a hurry to catch the train, but you have to stop to buy a ticket, and it's just stressful. It seems that this is aimed at commuters and regular travellers going short to medium distances. Again, same as the Oyster, but without all that faffing about with fare zones. I don't know how practical it would be for long-distance journeys, but I suspect if you're planning a long-distance journey, you probably have time to book in advance. Personally, unless I'm really in a hurry, I tend to use a split fare app for long-distance journeys where I can make significant savings. That's not exactly relevant, but this is just quite a short video, so I thought I'd pad it out with my travel tips. Another travel tip. They call it first class, but it arrives at the exact same time as the rest of the train. Back on topic. Something that could be a plus or minus depending on your point of view is the question of data retention. Presumably, if the app is recording your travel, that means that data is going somewhere. On the plus side, I can see this being very useful for the train operators. If you can get a clearer picture of travel patterns, you can provide a better service. On the minus side, I can see people objecting to their travel data being recorded. I'm not bothered myself. Anyone trying to figure out my travel patterns deserves everything they get. And Oyster cards have been recording people's journeys for years. But I can certainly see some people getting paranoid about it, and of course no doubt the anti-rail faction in the media will leap upon that. But I don't see it being a problem in the long run. As I say, it's not been a problem in London, and we've had similar systems in place for an awfully long time now. But anyway, that is that. I think it's very interesting. I'm hesitant to take a stand for or against because it's very much on trial at the moment. I would love to see the outcome when the trial is complete. If you pushed me right now, based upon what I currently know for sure, I would say that I'm pro because, as I say, I think making trains easier and cheaper can only be a good thing. Also because, frankly, I'm just sick of the overwhelming wave of negativity every time an announcement is made about improving the railways. All that being said, my present verdict is subject to change as more information comes in. We shall see. Well, I do hope you enjoyed today's video, shorter than usual though it was. If you did enjoy it, then please do leave a like and consider subscribing for more. If you want to check this system out for yourself, then visit the East Midlands Railway or Northern Rail websites to sign up. I would like to thank my donors on Ko-fi, on Patreon, and here on YouTube for your generous support. You are the cheaper fare to my slower journey. And I will see you all again very soon. Cheerio.